ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, The Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it is that time of the week for the Breakfast Bankroll with good friend and colleague, Mr. Matthew George, live from New York City, the Mecca itself. Go follow Matthew at MG28 Sports. You can also follow him Tuesday and Wednesday on the Sports Grid. And of course, don't forget his podcast with Mr. Coach Young. So first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, myself, Amber, Holly, Carol, Bucks, Ali, Matthew. The list is endless. Come on board. You will have a blast, I promise. AtlantaSteaksandSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, wine. Set it and forget it with 4 subscription plans. Every 30 days, Terry will deliver you a box of protein like he does myself. The only thing you'll need is a spare propane tank. Today's headline: at what point does the NBA salaries tarnish the product and league? Pull the plug. Adios. I mean, enough's enough. Let's bring him in. Mr. Matthew George. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff. How are we doing?
Let me just say this. SGA, Chet Holmgren, and the cherry on top, well, Paolo Banchero, of course, but the cherry on top, Booker, 2 years, $145 million. So if my math is correct, 72.5 per year. Don't include load management. He's getting paid over $1 million a game to lace him up. I'm done. It's disgusting, Matthew.
Yeah, and I don't know why the Suns are doing this. You got rid of Kevin Durant in the trade. You think that Devin Booker is your guy, and you've been kept him since his rookie, ever since his rookie year. He's been with that franchise his entire career, and you not tried to build around him. And this dynamic trio that they've been having with him, Beal, and Kevin Durant these past couple of years, tried to make a championship run. Oh my goodness, it's been a pain in the neck. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then she's getting paid more than SGA, who SGA got a supermax 4-year 5-year extension with the OKC Thunder. It makes sense because he won a championship. Same thing with Chet Holmgren. Although he's dealt with some injuries, especially with his legs, he's gotten his supermax deal because he's earned it. He helped the OKC Thunder again win a championship. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for me for him to get the supermax deal, especially since it's only 2 years. So it's like, okay, we have this 2-year window to build around Devin Booker and see if we can win a championship, even though this Western Conference is so loaded. Boy, it doesn't look good for Phoenix unless they're trying to turn something around in the next 2 years. It doesn't seem likely to me.
I said to you backstage, when's the last time they've been to the finals? When's the last time they've been to the conference finals? I says,
No.
I don't see any Thunder Dan Marley. I don't see any Charles Barkley. And I'm drawing a brain fart here on that other guard, Kevin. I can see his face. I
Kevin
can't.
Johnson.
It might have been Johnson.
Mhm.
Those were the fun days. I enjoyed the round mound to rebound going from Philly to Phoenix. They were fun. Thunder Dan and Kevin Johnson. Yes, it was Kevin Johnson, by the way. And now okay, so let's go through the crib notes here. SGA, Supermax. I don't have a problem with that. Chet Holmgren. Okay. I have no problem with Paolo. I do, just because, again, these guys are privileged to get this kind of money. When, again, how many series in the playoffs has Orlando won?
Oh man,
None.
because and the same thing goes with how they handled with Dwight Howard. That was the last time they were being a legit. I think they were probably a legit contender. Even then, still the Eastern Conference was still maddening as well with those big straight series with with your Celtics with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Those guys were still a dynamic as well. LeBron James was coming up in the mix in Miami Heat. So it's like, when do you draw the line per se with these young players to stay with their franchises and actually try to make a run for the playoffs? Now, I understand with Paulo Banchero because you're trying to build around him, and you're trying to understand about the fact that this season, especially this upcoming season, you have a chance to make a run for the playoffs or even make the Eastern Conference Finals. It's the biggest test for the Magic to actually make that kind of run, because the Pacers are basically done. Unfortunately for your Celtics, they're basically, I think they're probably in the middle of the pack for this upcoming season. The East is wide open, and this is probably the biggest time of the year. This is the biggest time of the year of this upcoming season to try to make a run in the Eastern Conference. Either that, this is going to totally flop for the Magic going forward for the rest of the future. But again, with Devin Booker, it doesn't make any sense to me. With Paolo Banchero, it's seeming like this is the time for them to try to make a push for the playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference.
It's funny because the NBA, Matthew, you got to beat the champs to make it to the next level. I go back, it took Michael a few times to get by the Celtics. It took the Pistons a few times. You got to, OKC last year knocking on the door. Dallas says not your year. They come back. With Halliburton out for the year, you would think it's the Knicks' year. Well, I'll tell you this right now, July 10th, 2025. I'll give everyone today the Knicks and the Cavs. I would rather have my money invested in the youth with the Pistons and the Magic for next year.
Yeah, and when Coach did his podcast just yesterday, actually, he said the same thing on what you said about the Pistons. Like, they are very sneaky. They, like, don't be surprised that this team can make a run. Like, Kate Cunningham has been dynamic every single year. He's only been improving. The only thing I think we need to see from him is just a better shooting stroke, although he has to take most of the shots, because obviously he is a star player, and he also I believe he got his max rookie deal super max as well off his rookie contract. So I think with Jaden Ivey coming back from injury, with all these young players that they have with Jalen Duren, and I think Ron Holland's going to be a good piece for this team, and then they also have their draft picks as well. So it's like this young team, like, they can build upon that, and hopefully they can lead into I wouldn't say the same road as OKC, but something similar, especially since they're in the Eastern Conference where anything can happen. So this is the time for the Pistons to actually make a run for the playoffs. It's going to be very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be a top 3, top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. I mean, let alone, again, as you said, the Cavs and the Knicks are the teams to beat. Now it's the matter of how Mike Brown actually, for the Knicks actually handles this team. I think he can handle the team well. He seemed very promising. Obviously, this is like with every Knicks coach this past couple of years. But Tom Thibodeau has been the only real legit head coach that actually helped the Knicks actually win playoff games. So we'll see how Mike Brown does. He has that experience, he has that pedigree, and I think he has the attitude to help his team contend for a title. But then again, we'll see how the Pistons do and see if they can make a run.
Yeah, I just laughed. NBA championship. 2 days later, the draft, which ran for 2 days, and now they're already in Vegas and wherever else playing summer league like that. I mean, no breath of fresh air. No, it's just crazy. Going to go through some of the headlines here. I'm going to throw them out to you. You can go as according. John Collins, Norman Powell involved in a three-team trade right there. Paige Beckers, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Irifan for making the All-Stars in the WNBA, which we're going to get to. But thoughts on Cooper Flag, thoughts on the three-man team trade, or Paige Beckers and company?
Yeah, John Collins and Norman Powell. It was a very interesting trade by all teams. So Norman Powell now goes to the Heat. John Collins goes to the Clippers. So it's a very, and then I believe Kevin Love and then Kyle Anderson go to the Jazz. So it's a very, I don't think that Kevin Love's going to play for the Jazz. He'll probably get bought out or something like that. But I think with Norman Powell going to Miami, it brings a lot more depth to this team. It's just a matter of how the Heat culture is going to come back. I don't think it's going to come back anytime soon since they lost Jimmy Butler, and you're going to try to build around maybe Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins as probably like your dynamic duo, and then obviously Bam and Adebayo. So this team's still trying to figure things out. Although I think they know the addition of Norman Powell is still good. So it's just a matter of how they can compete in the Eastern Conference, because again, Eastern Conference is wide open as we mentioned. So let's see how that goes. John Collins going into the Clippers is very interesting. I think that the way the Clippers are going to handle that is going to be a good 1-2 punch with him, and the rising of Ivica Zubac is very good. So we'll see how that front court sets up with the Clippers, and then obviously the Jazz are just trying to figure things out with their young players. So we'll see how that goes at the start of the season. With Paige Beckers and Sonia Citron, I think Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen, this is the first time since 2011 that 3 rookies in the WNBA have been selected to the All-Star team. I mean, congratulations to these 3 players. Not to mention the 2 of them play for the same team in Kiki Iriafen and Sonia Citron. They both play for Washington. The Washington Mystics have been a very surprising team, even though they're like 1 game under 500. They're facing the Aces tonight, which we'll get to soon. But I think that this is a very surprising team compared also with the Phoenix Mercury, who have been very surprising as well. But this team is a very upcoming team, and they have the young pieces. Hopefully, when Georgia Moore comes back from her ACL injury, she could also be a good asset to this team as well. So this team is very up and coming, so don't be surprised. And then obviously we know about Paige Beckers. Like, she's been dynamic for Dallas, even though the team completely is all over the place this season. But she specifically has just been improving every single game, 20-point games these past couple of stretches. So she's been very dynamic, as we probably all expected since all of her years at UConn. So it doesn't surprise me there. With the Summer League. The Summer League in Vegas starts today, and games are about to start actually tipping off very soon. I believe there's one starting very soon at 11:30. Tonight there is a game with the number 1 overall pick in Cooper Flag facing Bronny James and the Los Angeles Lakers Summer League team. The full expectation is for Cooper Flag to get into the mix of how the NBA works. My expectation on my end, I didn't put this bet in, but I feel like this is a good parlay for anyone who wants to put this in, is for is for Cooper Flag to get 15 plus points, minus 270. At least is how the number was last night. When numbers will change. So 15 plus points, minus 270, 6 plus rebounds, minus 310, and 4 plus assists at minus 220. You can SGP that for a plus 150 parlay with a 3 leg. It's a good way. It's a good way for him to get into the mix of the NBA and how it works. Even though I think he's already in. I think we all know that he's basically NBA ready. So that's how you should probably attack the summer league props for Cooper Flag. But the full expectation is for him to get all the shots up as much as possible so that he can be ready for this upcoming season. Honestly, I don't think he probably needs, if he does well with tonight's game against the Lakers, I think he probably just needs like one or two more games, and then just say Dallas was just say, okay, we're ready. He's ready to go, and then he'll be ready for this upcoming season because he's got a lot to do. And he's got a lot of shoes to fill. So that's how, especially since Kyrie Irving is still dealing with his ACL injury. So he'll bring in that passing IQ, that scoring ability to the Dallas Mavericks. It's just a matter of how much you can actually keep him into the mix. Because obviously, AD is also dealing with that eye injury that he had procedure in his eye. So that's also something you have to be worried about as well. Because how healthy can this team be? Because there's a lot of, basically almost the entire roster has been dealing with injuries. Klay Thompson, his injuries. AD, as we mentioned. Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington were dealing with injuries this past season. So we'll see how this team goes throughout the rest of the year. Hopefully Cooper Flag doesn't, hit that injury bug as well.
Well, we shall see. As you said, 2 games on the WNBA tonight. 3 o'clock this afternoon, Minnesota at Los Angeles. If I remember correctly, Minnesota coming off a loss yesterday. Is that correct?
Yes,
A big
it is.
upset loss. Opened at 7, now 7 with a 163. It was 163.5. And then tonight, the Aces travel to that upstart Washington team. You said LA opened up -1 overnight. The Sharps said, not so fast. Washington now 2.5 with a 159. I guess we'll start Minnesota, LA.
Yeah, and Minnesota, as you mentioned, Minnesota did lose last night, so I think they're gonna come back with a better chance of pedigree and a little fight and grit on their hands because that was a very tough loss last night. So we are going with 2 players not named Nafisha Collier because I've been betting on Nafisha Collier and she hasn't really been up there per se, but she is the star player on the team. But we're gonna probably go with 2 other players for tonight. I think they're gonna take down the Sparks as well because the Sparks are still, trying to figure things out together. Obviously, we know Kelsey Plum can do her thing, but this team in general still needs to figure things out. So we're gonna go with Courtney Williams and Kayla McBride for the prop markets for tonight. Courtney Williams, we're going 15 plus points at plus 138. It is really very interesting to see that her number at 50 plus points is at plus 138 because she's hit 15 plus points in the last 3 straight games. So it's very interesting that how she's only been her prop number is only there. She's basically, I would say, in my opinion, like the Kevin Durant of the WNBA because her mid range game is, second to none per se because she's definitely been knocking down those mid ranges like nobody's business. And then Kayla McBride, she's hit the number of 2 plus made threes. We're gonna heavily juice it at minus 250. She's hit the number 5 out of the last 7 games with 2 plus made threes. So you can parlay this. I believe I got this last night at a plus 227. Obviously the numbers have changed. So just be aware be aware of those numbers changing. But this is a good way for you to get some money in your pocket as well. With the Aces and Mystics, as we mentioned, Sonia Citron and Kiki Raffin has been absolutely dynamic to start off their rookie years. Not to mention that they're their first like all-star duo in a long time. So this is a good spot for them to face an Aces team that has been so struggling. I don't know why they've been struggling this past season. We know why. Obviously know why. Jewel Lloyd hasn't been living up to expectations, and then the injury bug now because I believe in her last game, AJ Wilson got hit really hard, and she dealt with an injury last game. So it's going to be a very good step up for the Mystics and for these two players. So we're going to take Sonia Citron and Kiki Riafin in terms of the prop market. So 2+ made threes at -114 with Sonia Citron because she hit that number 5 of the last 7 games, and then Kiki Riafin with 8+ rebounds. She's hit that number at that number's at -104. She's hit that number 3 out of the last 5 games with 8+ rebounds. Not to mention that she's also in that span got a double double with rebounds as well. So the prop markets say that, and the trends also say that as well for these two players to go off in against the aces that have been struggling. So we'll see how it goes. I fully expect that the Mystics can actually make the playoffs and try to make a playoff push. The Aces, on the other hand, I have no idea what's going to happen. And should they just fold? Should they fold and just be able to just say we'll throw in the towel? I think it might. I think they might have to do that and just say we'll just worry about next season, because it's just been a whole mess and a half with the Aces this season. So it's basically the top 3 teams in the Mercury, Liberty, and the Lynx. It's just been those top 3 teams, and then everybody else is just trying to race for the playoffs, to be honest.
I took my family to Las Vegas a handful of years ago for the summer, right at this time, and I took them for an afternoon to the UNLV where they played the NBA Summer League, and it was kind of neat. There was a handful of courts, and you'd bounce from one court to another. Oh, there's this guy, this guy. It was Taco Fall's rookie year, and he
Oh
was
boy.
standing on the sidelines. But the highlight for me is I was sitting there with my wife and my 2 daughters. I think we were watching the Celtics game, and who walks right by me but Shams? And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I got a selfie with him. We talked for a
Did you?
few minutes. Yeah, that was my
Look at that.
highlight there, Trust. But I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in all to start. It's going to be bedlam out there. Of course, everyone's going to be running for Bronny and Cooper Flag. As we wrap up today's show, you'll be back tomorrow, of course, at 11. We will have the Philly Godfather here at 11:30, so everyone tune in for that as well. Give us a name or two other than Bronny and Flag today that you're going to keep an eye on.
Let's look out for VJ Edgecombe. I think that tonight, because they're facing tonight against the Spurs, this is going to be a big test for VJ in terms of how he could be a good asset for them. Jared McCain is coming back from his injury. We know that because he was destined for Rookie of the Year, like by far, last season, but then he dealt with that injury. So now let's see how he does for the team coming off the bench, or he actually starts for the 76ers alongside Tyrese Maxey. Can VJ Edgecombe and the 76ers plan to use him as either a 6-man, which I think they would, and then be that dynamic scorer and / defender that this team really needs? Because obviously we know that this team's been dealing with such an injury bug. Same thing with the Dallas Mavericks on the West side. I think that this team could be very good, but it's just a matter of can they stay healthy. Obviously, we know with the whole shenanigan with Joel Embiid. So, VJ, I think, was a very good pick from them for this past draft. Now it's a matter of how he can step up, because he did really, really well against Ace Bailey and the Jazz in his first summer league game, scoring 28 points. So, can he continue that run as well coming up this coming season? Because I think he has potential, and I think he's going to be a very good asset for the 76ers. It's just a matter of how he can do it, and I think that he has to do and show it within the summer league.
Scroll has been going right here. Everyone knows on Twitter to go follow you at MG28 Sports Grid. But as we always wrap up this segment, tell them about your podcast, where to find it with Coach Young, and your schedule on the Sports Grid and whatever else you might have today.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach does a podcast every Tuesday and Thursday that gets released. We get Monday We record Monday and Wednesday. Everything basketball, college basketball, WNBA and NBA. Obviously, we're rolling through with the WNBA season, and then we're giving some prop markets in the NBA as well as we're trickling in towards the upcoming season and coming up with the summer league with all these rookies trying to make their stint and some of these players that are actually on the respective rosters for the summer league to try to make their spot and make themselves known to make a roster spot for this upcoming season. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you will see obviously Jeff at least once a week here on in-game live game day with Scott Wetzel. Obviously, Dave Champagne will keep his thoughts and prayers as he's recovering, so he'll have a load of hosts alongside him. Tuesday and Wednesday on my end, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, but he does that every single week, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time for on SportsGrid as well. So again, follow me on Twitter. So if anyone had missed today with all the props, with all the prop markets and best bets with the WNBA, I'll be posting them a couple of hours after today's show to get some leg room. But follow me on MG28 Sports, and we'll get it and we'll go from there. It's going to be a very interesting offseason for the NBA, and a very good and interesting part as the All-Star game approaches for the WNBA too.
Well, we can't wait. We're blessed and honored to have you a part of the ECSI network as well. So tomorrow, again, Matthew will be back 11:05. We'll go recap the WNBA, talk some NBA Summer League, how Cooper Flagg's debut was versus Bronny. Go over some WNBA weekend stuff as well. And then at 11:30, the Philly Godfather will be back here on the ECSI network. Around 1:30, Scotty Webb will be back live from Tampa. MLB Friday night bright lights, breaking down the market in the MLB. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Matthew George at MG28 Sports, we wish everyone a blessed day and stay tuned.